Well, our next guest sees more downside in store for UNH shares. Baird senior research analyst Michael Ha joins us here on set. Michael, great to have you with us. Welcome. You've got an outperform still on UNH?
I do, and thank you for having me.
So walk us through what you see in the next 12 months that makes it outperform relative to others in your coverage list.
Great question. And I would say, yes, we are outperform, but tactically, very, very cautious on this outperform, especially near term. I think the question that we need an answer to is what will stop the bleed. I think there are a lot of really good points made. Falling knife, 210. And I think right now there's very, very little that they can do to immediately stop the bleed and stop the near-term sentiment. I think the immediate need is 2025 guidance. They pulled it right now. I don't believe investors are willing to jump in and buy the dip until we get visibility on that. So I think that's step number one. And that will at least stop the bleed and create some stability. But for now, it is a falling knife. And what is the bottom? I think right now investors are looking at Pre-Affordable Care Act. So 2009, 2010, 9 times PE off of our 26 earnings. That puts us right around 228. So if you are holding, I would just caution there could be some downside to 228, so around 15%.
That's a lot, especially we are in a vacuum effectively in terms of guidance. I mean, they just reported earnings in April, and so the next earnings report is going to be sometime this summer. So for that long, we're going to live in a vacuum. And that's not to say even that Hemsley is going to come in and give a guidance that's even lower than before, because typically a new CEO will kitchen sink it. So it could be a rough entire back half of the year here for your outperform stock.
Absolutely. And I think what gives me even more caution is that they're not committing to give a 2025 guidance on their second quarter earnings call. So that puts everyone in this unknown, prolonged period of uncertainty. So you couple that with business risk as well. It's a tough combination, tough near-term setup.
Michael, that's really kind of the point, because I was, you do this every day, but my speculation was we're somewhere in the midpoint of 25, which makes this evaluation like a screamer, it seems to me, based upon where it was. So in that context, help folks understand, outside of today's story on investigation, and there's an argument, Humana, and look, you said this in your notes, that there are investigations going on out there. Therefore, maybe this is just confusion around something we know is going on within the related players. But talk about the difference between how you viewed this company before April 17th and how you view it now. And really, I'm curious where you went from your price target then to now, because it's amazing where people were at 600 are now down to 250, and what they needed to do to get there.
Right, great question. So I think to level set, back in February when the stock dropped 15% on Bill Ackman, the X battle, it was different then because investors were willing to step in by the dip. But today, it's different. It's fundamentally driven. And we talked about the 25 guidance revision. What gives me more caution is that a lot of it comes from Optum Health. Optum Health is their crown jewel, their value-based care, what was supposed to usher in the next decade of growth, multiple expansion, margin expansion. So to see any cracks there, I would almost prefer there to be any other issue in any other part of the business. A Change Healthcare, another cyber hack would be better. Investors would still buy the dip. But for it to be Optum Health, that makes me very cautious, and that's my focus. And you mentioned outperform. That's what I'm looking for next, because clearly, the stock is down 50%. I've missed the downgrade potentially, but we're looking to do more diligence on Optum Health, and our price target has come down significantly. At one point, we're over 600 now. We're right around 350-ish.